Morning, Marvin.
Every day is an opportunity to change your life. Good morning. Do you think I just woke up one day as a top-selling realtor?
You won the Regional Realtor of the Year award. Congratulations.
No, I had to work for it and stop becoming who I wanted to be. Aww. Hiding ain't living. Not feeling great all of a sudden.
Marvin Gable. I thought a has-been killer like yourself would be scarier.
Who are you?
We work with your brother. He brought us in to find you. After you let Rose go.
Where's the girl? Where's the money?
Tell my brother to back off.
This little 4-foot nothing-ass spider monkey ninja got hops. Ow, what the?
Rose?
Hey, Marv. Now let's finish this together.
You want the old me? You got him.
It's about damn time.
Sorry, brother. Love hurts.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We love talking about movies and more. I'm your host, Mason Phillips, and today I finally have another movie review for you for Ke Quan's new movie, Love Hurts. Before we get any further in this review, I want to ask you guys to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell icon so you get notified when new videos go live on this channel. When you guys do that, it always helps me out, and I greatly appreciate it. Now, let's talk about the plot.
Marvin is a Milwaukee realtor who receives a crimson envelope from Rose, a former partner in crime whom he left for dead. He now finds himself thrust back into a world of ruthless hitmen and double crosses that turn his open houses into deadly war zones. Hunted by his brother, a volatile crime lord, Marvin must confront the choices that haunt him and the history he never truly buried.
All right, so what was good about Love Hurts? This is probably going to be a pretty quick review. I don't plan to get too long-winded into this one. The main thing I want to talk about is Ke Quan himself. He was great as Marv in this movie. I always love seeing Ke Quan back in these roles, back in movies, back on TV shows. He was great in Everything Everywhere All at Once. I loved seeing him in Loki Season 2. It's been so cool to see this guy back. You know, I grew up watching him in movies from the 80s. Of course, we all know him as Short Round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So it's been so cool to see this guy get a resurgence, finally getting the appreciation that I think this guy always deserved. And it's so awesome to see him back on the big screen. I think he deserves all of this. Now, the movie wasn't necessarily the greatest movie you're going to see this year. It's definitely an action B movie. It's not trying to be the best movie you've seen all year. That wasn't the intention with it. I think it reminds me a lot of Jason Statham's movie, The Beekeeper, from last year. That was the first film that I reviewed for 2024 and the first film that I actually reviewed for this channel. It kind of reminds me of movies like that. It's just a fun action B movie. It's not even that long. I don't even think this movie clocks in at an hour and a half. I think it's shorter than an hour and a half. Comes in around an hour and 20 minutes, I believe, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. It's a pretty short film. It doesn't waste any time getting to the main action, getting to the main plot. It doesn't waste the audience's time. It's just fun. And Ke Quan is really good with the action in this as well. Now, he's very charismatic in the role, but he's also great in the action because he has a background in stunt work. He actually choreographed a lot of the stuff from the original X-Men movies. So he has a background in stunt choreography, and he implements that into roles like this. Of course, he implemented that into Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then also brings that here into Love Hurts. So it's cool that he can call back on those techniques that he's learned in past job experiences and able to bring that here into roles like this. And again, he's a very charismatic guy. You know, I feel like he's kind of playing himself in a way, just super likable, super charismatic. So character that really works on screen. I mean, maybe we're just seeing Ki-hyu Quan, maybe he's just playing to the strengths of himself. It's fine if an actor does that. Not a super transformative performance, but again, very charismatic, very fun to watch, very enjoyable, very wholesome performance. And so I really like what they did here with Love Hurts as far as his character is concerned. Even Ariana DeBose, I thought she was great in the movie as well. Maybe a little underserved in some aspects, but I thought she was a great partner for Ki-hyu Kwan's character, and it was fun to see her as Rose in the film. I thought she worked very well. She was actually in the second film that I reviewed last year in ISS. I didn't quite like that movie, but I did quite enjoy her here in this film. I thought she did a great job. The plot is a little thin. We'll get into that in the mixed and negative section. The action, though, was very fun, very swift, very quick. Felt like it flowed very well. Now, it got a little choppy with some other characters, but whenever Ki-hyu Kwan was on screen, a lot of his action scenes, they were quick, they were fluid, they worked very well, but it wasn't relying on the quick cuts. It was relying on the action of the actors, and I think that those scenes came together quite nicely. I don't really have anything else to say in the good section, so let's just go ahead and move on to the mixed section for Love Hurts. All right, so what was mixed about Love Hurts? That's where I think the pacing is going to be an issue. Now, it's quick, but I felt like in the middle of the film, the story kind of drags, which is really weird and feels off and odd. This is a movie that clocks in at a very short runtime, but when you feel scenes drag at points, that can be a problem. The film feels a little choppy once we get into the second act, and I wasn't entirely a fan of what happened at the end of the movie concerning Marv's character. I feel like they kind of do a complete 180 and turn the character back to his old ways when this was a character that was trying to be better than how he had been in the past, trying to live above the killer instinct. And Ariana DeBose's character, Rose, she keeps trying to pull him back to the way he was before. And I feel like he was becoming a better character and had to become a better character outside of his old assassin life. And the fact that this character is trying to pull him back into this life, I didn't really dig that storyline. I didn't like that plot point. I didn't really like that this character reverted back to his old way. You know, he was fine with the new life he had built for himself outside of the life that he had with his brother. So I liked the change that this character made, and it showed that characters can change, people can change, but then he reverts back to his old ways. Maybe I missed the point of this film, but I didn't really like that that was a character that was reverting back to his old ways, and it feels like they undid all of the character development for Marv. So I don't think that quite worked out so well. I didn't really dig that part of the story, didn't care for that part of the story. So the plot does kind of fall a little flat and kind of unravels at the end of it. So that was a mixed aspect of it, not really a negative aspect for it, but something that I just don't think quite worked. Let's move on to the bad aspect of Love Hurts. All right, so what was bad about Love Hurts? Nothing super egregious. Again, this movie is fine, but there's not a lot of depth to it, especially where the villain is concerned. The villain doesn't really do much for me. I don't think that character quite worked. There's some good back and forth between him and Ki-hyu Kwan's character, but I think at the end of the day, the plot is a little thin. There's not much substance to it at all, and it just kind of falls a little flat where he's concerned and where the overarching plot is concerned. It just doesn't quite land the way that I think the trailers had sold this film, and where I think the trailers were actually more exciting than the film itself. I did enjoy the film. I had some fun with it. I think my wife actually ended up liking this movie a lot more than I did. This was a date movie for us, but I just don't think that for me it landed the way that I had hoped it would. Now, this movie wasn't entirely disappointing, but it wasn't as good as I was hoping it could be, as good as I thought it was going to be. Again, quick review. I'm not going super in-depth with Love Hurts the way I do on other reviews, but it's a movie that I think is good, not great, but is actually the best movie I've seen from the 2025 film season. That's not saying much. There's a lot of better movies to come for the 2025 film season, so I'm looking forward to checking out a lot of other movies this year. Some that have been released that I haven't gotten around to seeing yet, and some that are going to be releasing very, very soon. But as far as Love Hurts is concerned, I think there's more that could have been done here. There's not a lot of substance to this movie. I think the plot kind of falls a little thin, a little flat, kind of unravels at the end. They undo all of the character development for Ki-hyu Kwan's character, and Rose just kind of gets in the way and brings this character down rather than elevating this character. I think the action was really good. I did enjoy Ki-hyu Kwan. He's quite charming. He's playing himself in many aspects. This is just a fun guy to watch on screen. I love that he's getting a chance to be back in film, back on TV, and so it's really cool that he's had this great resurgence. Hoping he has a better movie after Love Love Hurts, but at the end of the day, this was a fine movie. Not a great movie, but I didn't hate it either, and it's weirdly my favorite movie of 2025 so far. That's not saying much, but this was a good movie. I think you will enjoy it if you like these kind of action B movies. There's not much to it as far as the substance of the plot, so don't look for something super in-depth here, but it was just a fun, short time at the movies. If I'm going to give this movie a rating, it's got to be a 3.5 out of 5 or a B- on the letter scale. Kind of middle of the road, but it was still fun. I had a lot of fun with this movie, but it just wasn't as good as I was hoping it could be. If you've seen Love Hurts, go down in the comment section and let me know what you thought of this film. I'd love to hear from you. Before you go, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you get notified when new videos go live on this channel. When you guys do that, it always helps me, and I greatly appreciate it. Hope you all have an awesome and a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.